Hello everyone. So this is the 2.4 TDCI out of the Land Rover. Now if you wear, because it's obviously going to be a Ford title, it is exactly the same as a Ford Transit. The only thing that's different, to my knowledge anyway, is the Sump. But these, and well, the 2.4 and the 2.2 are prone for oil pump failures. Now, when I worked at Ford, Ford admitted it on a certain batch, but not on them all, which was rightly so, because when I was working there, I'm thinking, what did I replace them on? I think the vans were around 2012, 2013 plated vans, and it was definitely more prone on the 2.2. But then again, most vans that front wheel drive are 2.2s. So while it's out, while it's on the stand, I'm replacing the sump anyway. We might as well do the oil pump. I'd rather pay £65 for an oil pump rather than these engines go for ridiculous money. So yeah, you get the idea really. So we're going to replace the sump, replace the oil pump, and then that's done, out of the way. Now, if you are thinking about replacing the oil pump, it's an idea to get a new sump, because there's no gasket, it's literally silicone fit, and you will more than likely bend it getting it off, and it will leak if you refit it. So with that in mind, let's I'll turn the engine round. Oh, another quick one as regards to the Land Rover. My engine already has the air conditioning loom fitted. Now, because obviously I'm turning it into an XS model, I thought I had to buy another loom, but for some reason mine's already got one fitted. So I don't need to change the wiring loom, but what I do need to do is fit the aircon pump, and if there's any pipes that can go on the engine before it actually goes in the Land Rover, I'll do that as well, but I'll probably do that in another video, in all honesty. The other thing that I'm going to do to this engine is I'm going to blank the EGR cooler and the valve off. So if you're thinking about doing that yourself, that'll be one to watch out for in probably the next video or two, something like that. So we'll spin the engine round and take the sump off. So 8mm, and then 10mm for the corners at the threaded bar. But I always crack them off by hand. We did have a few that did snap in the block. But it is rare, especially when they're covered in oil. And you can see on the swimming torch. You can see here it is quite heavily corroded. So I get the feeling that that's going to go porous. So for the price of the sum, I think it was 20 something pound plus that for the sump. Get a new one, just buy a new one. Sit around and messing about. If you can, leave the oil draining for a day or two as well. It saves you getting covered when you take it off. Right, so that's all the bolts out. I need to pry the sump off now. It does make the sump a little bit easier to get off if you can take the threaded bar out. But if it feels like they're going to snap, leave them, work around them. So that one, and that one feel like they could snap. Whereas these two, crack it off and they're coming out by hand. So instead of having to take the sump off square, if you can remove them, you can just pull the sump off as such with the pry bar. So that's two removed. We'll work around the other three. So if you can, I can't remember how hard it is with the gearbox on, start at the gearbox side, because you've got a bolt that you can put your pry bar in to lever the sump up. So because the feathered bars come out this side, we'll start with this one. Ooh, and that's how tight it is. You can see how soft the sump is where it's been rusting. It's just lifting now. So what you can do, pry that bit of the sump up, stick a screwdriver in, and then you should be able to get in a bit further down like that. Up. Same again. Keep easing around until it lets go. So it's starting to lift now. And there we go. So what I'm doing now, just got a Stanley knife blade. I'm just running underneath the old silicone. Now because the engine's upside down, I've got to be careful that nothing actually goes down into the cylinders. I'll just put Stanley knife blade on the end of the mole grips, just so I can hold it with this hand and push with the other. I have got a scraper somewhere, but I can't find it. Right, so that's the main build-up of silicone cut off. Let's go over it now with the cloth. And you can see all the thick bits. You also need to try and get rid of. In some ways I do prefer just using a Stanley knife blade, because sometimes with a scraper you can get stuck on the edges and actually make an indent in the aluminium. So I suppose with a Stanley blade, you're not going to really, if it stops you can't push it because you've only got like a little blade to push against it. You can see now, nice and clean, ready for the sump to be fitted back on. So now you've cleaned the face up, Might as well take the oil pump off and have a look. Start where you need to take the pickup pipe off, which on mine is only 2. I'm sure others had 3 bolts holding it down. Put it on the bench. Now there is tension on the chain. What you can do to help is get a long screwdriver, make sure it's clean obviously, and if you look down you can see the tensioner. Just support the tensioner when you take the pump off, and the chain then won't be trying to pull the pump in. You can see now it was pulling the pump over. Let me touch. That's what we're doing, so you can see. Oop. Push that down to keep it supported. Take that bolt out. There we go. And that's it. So I'm going to do now for the chain. Just put socket extension there. So we've got the pump off. I've just had a quick look and I don't think it's a genuine Ford pump. The Fords had 8mm bolts holding it all together, whereas this is Torx bits. And it had Ford Motor Company or Citroën Peugeot stamped on it because they were the original makers of the pump. So in fairness it probably didn't need changing, but it's peace of mind. But obviously I weren't supposed to know, I've never had the sump off before. Without giving the part number to anybody, I don't know what brand of pump it is. So I don't know how good it is, so I'll fit the new pump that I've got anyway. The pump I'm fitting is a BGA pump. My suppliers say that they've sold a lot of them for the Ford Transits. So it seemed like a logical choice to go for. So let's get it fitted. So here's the new pump. Little thing I like to do before fitting anything like this is just pour a little bit of oil down it and work it round. Therefore when you start the engine up for the first time with this pump, you're not starting up dry. There is actually oil inside the pump. Just have a quick look that the chain hasn't come off the crankshaft. There's no timing or anything like that to consider. All that chain does is run the pump. Yeah, that's alright. Just make sure it's not come off the tensioner. and the crankshaft. So the chain's on there, on the runner. Pull the tension so the chain's nice and straight. Now to do is just nip 2, 1, 2. Just nip the other 2 now. So just be aware that obviously there's tension all the time on this chain, so it will try and pull the pump round. So make sure you get it straight just before you tighten it up. But yeah, they're not particularly very tight then, so don't over tighten. Just nips enough. And that's it. So all we need to do now, check the pickup pipe, clean it and put it back on. So that's the pickup pipe all nice and clean. On some vehicles it is common for, especially if the oil's not changed regular, for the actual gauze inside the pickup pipe to become blocked, therefore causing oil starvation. So again, it's just something to look for. Give that a quick clean, it's off. Well, it won't take you 5 minutes to do. And this is the same, it's only plastic, so not over tighten them, just nip them. Don't want they're going anywhere. That's it, done. So we'll silicone the sump now and then stick that back on. There's a new sump. Wonder how long it'll stay that clean. So all we've got, silicone fit, and all you're going to do is run silicone around the inside of the bolt holes. I mean, you can run it around the outside if you really want to. Like that bit there's quite thin, so we'll put a ring around that. And that's it really. It's a case of just silicone around the outside and then fit the sump on the engine. Well, silicone around the inside, sorry, not outside. There we go. That's all you need. So obviously when you press it onto the engine, it spreads for the full width of the sump anyway. I'll just give this a final wipe with a bit of brake cleaner. And I've put the threaded bars back in where I took them out from. Therefore when you put the sump on, you've got a guide, so you can literally just slide it over the threaded bar and it'll settle itself. Nearly. to do. Put bolts. Now, I always tighten the bolts up first, then the nuts last. Knit them up by hand. And then the threaded bar. So what you need to do now is leave it as long as you can before putting oil in it. Because if you put oil in it straight away before the silicon's set, it's going to seep through the silicon and it's going to leak. Trust me, we know. When they were recalled at Ford, obviously you were on a time basis constantly, and a couple of the lads threw them straight outside, and then you can guarantee later on in the week they come back with oil leaks. So just leave it as long as you can before sticking the oil in, and you're guaranteed no leaks then.